my bathroom. This is episode 7 of the hair cutting series. Today we're gonna be doing a uniform cut, also called a 90-degree cut, together. Before we start, make sure you subscribe and like, click the buttons, bells, whistles. I'm here for you every single Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna show you a standard state board cut, but also note that every state board is different. In the 2 states that I'm licensed in, the state board cut is the same. It's pretty similar to this, but also that's been like 15 years ago. So things may have changed. This isn't the gospel. Take a look at where I'm at. I'm in my bathroom. 4 quads. Oh, and I'm sorry. This is Patricia. Your 4 basic quads should look like this. If you need help on sectioning, there's a video I'll pop up for you. So a 90-degree cut is a round layer cut. It follows the head shape. It's rounded at 90 degrees. It's also called a uniform cut. Every hair is the same length. It's uniformed. So for this cut, we're doing 5 inches. We're gonna whack it off. That means that every piece of hair on Patricia's head is going to be 5 inches long. Girl, on your protractor. 90 degrees is right here, straight out, right here, right here, right here. It looks like a rainbow. Just beep. It's going to look like this. 90 degrees, 90 degrees. We're pulling hair directly out from where it lives. See how it kind of looks like a mohawk? Radial, rainbow. Your comb should have the inches laid out here for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm cutting the hair at 5. I'm gonna take my Sharpie and I'm going to color in where this is. Now you can't do this for state board at your state board test. That is not okay. What I did is I notched. I took one of those, what are they called? Little engraver pins, and I burned a line into the 5-inch mark. That way I could feel on my comb where 5 inches was. But if the instructor came, she would not be able to see that. My body positioning when I'm cutting is gonna be a little off. I should be cutting at heart level, so she'd be way down here, and I should always be directly in front of what I'm cutting. So moving with it. But I'm gonna do my best to stay out of the frame so you can see. So you can copy the way I'm cutting, but please don't copy the way I'm standing or holding my body. 2 back quads, we're in the back first. We're gonna cut our guide at the bottom. So I'm taking a horizontal line down. It's about 1/2 inch. We're gonna be cutting our guide at 0 degrees, parallel to the floor. Here's the floor, here's where I'm cutting my guide. Parallel, they never, at 5 inches. Now the states that I've studied under, we cut with a razor first. Maybe different for you. Basically, that's just to show them that you can cut with a razor. I don't think you can use this razor comb, but these are fun. You need to get one of these. Combing it where it lives, and I'm taking my comb and I'm measuring, and it's going to be right here, 5 inches. So I'm gonna start in the middle, holding maximum tension pretty tight, horizontal, horizontal, cutting horizontal. And right above my fingers, I'm not cutting below, because that's, I mean, how are you gonna do that? I don't know. Right here, and I'm cutting, going straight in. Now, because my razor has a guard, I'm gonna have to really hack at it. I'm following this, 0 degrees, maximum tension, following this line, cutting above my fingers. Now, is that going to be perfect? No. I'm gonna take this at a 0 degree and kind of clean up my line to make sure this is even. Now we've got a guide on the bottom. We're gonna make a guide in the mohawk. What we're gonna do is take a strip or mohawk from the back 2 quads and the front 2 quads. Woo! It's gonna look like this. Here's your parting your back quad. You're taking a little sliver from this side and a little sliver from this side. Vertical. Hose her down. Especially if you are doing a state board test, I would just be spraying her to sprayer. You want the, is it called a protractor? You want the person who's grading you to see that you're doing the basic steps. Oversell. Spray it, start spraying it in the air. Here's your subsection. This strip of hair, this mohawk. I like to start at the apex, the highest point of the head, to create my first guide. Look at it from the side at 90 degrees. It's going to be right here, 90 degrees. If it's over here, that's at 60 degrees. It's gonna change the shape. See how the hair is bending? And if it's over here, that's over directed. That's a totally different haircut. It's at 90 degrees, but you have to remember that 90 degrees here looks different than 90 degrees here because the head is round and you're following the head. So the best thing that you can do is take small pieces of hair. If you try to take all this hair like a wizard, grab it all and cut it 90 degrees, yes, it's 90 degrees here, but it's not 90 degrees here. You've bent it out of its home. 90 degrees is here for this and here for this. I hope that's making sense. I'm going to take a little piece at the apex and I'm measuring at 5 inches. Combing it, crab clawing straight up, and I'm cutting. just this little piece, because this piece lives at 90 degrees. This one, you have to move with it, okay? It's moving a little bit. That's my guide, 90 degrees. I don't cut past my second knuckle, so I'm really just using the tip on this thing. And I'm moving with it, because remember, it's a ray of sunshine. It's rounded, not square. Cut, cut, cut. Now you can go forward or backwards, and we're recombing. We have a guide here, but we also have the guide on our comb. Everything's 5 inches. Combing where it lives, straight up and down here. There is no over here, because if you pull it out from where it lives right here. Cutting, I know it's hard to see, but I'm just following my guide. Recombing, following that line. In my mind, I'm remembering the head is round. I'm not cutting a square cut. I'm not cutting everything like this. That's a square. I'm cutting everything at a radial, rainbow. Adding another piece. This hair lives right here. That's too much hair, go away. Once you get to the front, 90 degrees is not out here, it's right here. Sometimes we have a tendency to pull it back, but remember, 90 degrees, the head's round. Think of that early 2000s Blink-182, what was his name, had the mohawk. Kind of went forward a little bit because it's following his head shape. What was his name? Shoot, I don't know. Anyway, think of that, following the head shape. The head is round. For the back, I'm taking it straight up where it lives, following my guide, moving with the head shape. Moving with it. Once you get to this point where it's kind of straight out like this, you may want to cut palm to palm like this, straight up and down. It's going to start to bend down here because the head is sloping. So don't continue to cut like this. You're moving down with it. Oop, I missed a piece. Hang on. Woo, woo, woo. All right, now once I get down here, my haircut should match up with that basic shape or that 0 degrees. I have a guide that can disperse throughout this whole head. You're gonna leave this guide out. Now we're gonna take a vertical subsection. This hair that we cut lives right here. This hair that we're about to cut is a little bit over. It lives right here. 2 different spaces going on. We are going to move what we cut to our new portion. It's going to travel with it. This is where my hair lives. My guide is under there. It's gonna be hard to see, but there's my guide. Maximum tension where it lives. And I am not cutting above it, below it, I'm cutting right at it. I don't want to change the shape. Remember, you're holding little pieces of hair. There's my guide. I'm getting towards the back here, so I'm coming in at it this way. If you want to cross-check this to make sure it's even, you're going in the opposite way. I cut it this way, straight out from the head. So the opposite way of this would be to take it out. That should be straight. Horizontal. So this is gonna get pretty overwhelming, so I'm gonna go ahead and clip all this back. And I'm moving with the head. So I'm not staying back here because then I have a tendency to over-direct hair back here. Adding another vertical slice, very thin. Should be able to read the newspaper through it because I need to be able to see the guide. Combing it where it lives at a 90 degree, there's the guide. Here's the hair that needs to be cut. There's my guide. Snip, snip, just the tip. Recombing, the head is round. I have to follow the head shape. Recomb, making a ray of sunshine, looking for my guide. There it is. Okay, and if I ever feel lost, I can just take my comb, measure it. Because again, everything's going to be the same length on whatever that is you decide. Another vertical section. Taking a little piece of this guide, I can do away with this, marrying it over here. Combing it where it lives. There's my guide. There's my guide. See that? Matches to the length of the hair. Now we're getting really close to the ear. If I could make a suggestion, I would take out this hairline by the ear. Hairline here, right above the ear. Throw a quick little braid or a clip or something in it. This is where mistakes happen a lot. We're gonna do that last. Vertical subsection. There's my guide. Cut. There's my guide. Cut. Cut. Okay, when I get to the bottom, remember 90 degrees is here. Straight out here, but here. Now here at the bottom, because I already cut this, you can see it all lines up. It's making a rounded layer. Honestly, when you keep it this length, it's pretty much a mullet. See how it's getting long and whoop to short? I've got one more piece in this back layer here. Now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna cross-check this. When I pull it straight out, I should have a pretty close to horizontal line. Horizontal line, can you see it? How we move forward is we do the same thing on this side that we did to this side. You're taking vertical subsections very thin. Where the hair lives, remember it's 90 degrees here, straight out, that one's easy, but it moves because the head changes shape. Boom, 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 boom. Patricia, you doing okay, girl? You doing okay back here? All I need from Patricia is a guide. So all this mullet looking stuff, it can go away. I just need a little sliver. Start at the top, combing it out where it lives. Following the guide. Following the guide, I know it's kind of hard to see because my hands are hiding it, but I'm following the guide right here, boop. If I ever get confused, I can just measure with my comb because everything is the same length. 5 inches, I missed a piece up here. Woo. Straight out, here we go. Woo, I'm messing up. 90 degrees, making sure there's no bends, no squirrels, no twirls, squirrels. There's no squirrels. I'm thinking of my squirrel, Henry. There's no swirls or twirls in the hair. I missed a spot right there. Following the head, it's changing shape. When I get to the bottom here, I should be able to connect the dots because remember, our basic shape, 0 degrees, we cut, then we have this. We're just taking out this middle piece, connecting the dots, boom. Now rounded. Same thing on this other side. At this hairline here, I'm gonna save that. Following my guide, there it is, snip, snip. Moving up the head. Got a little bit of unevenness. Ooh. But see how it's going radial, rainbow, what? Round, something up there, hang on. Hosing you down, Patricia. Cutting at a 90, where the hair lives. Bing, moving downtown, here we go. Following my guide. Checking, because I missed a piece. Here we go. Cutting this a little backwards, but there we go. That will connect with my bottom line. Whoop, round layer. I've got one more piece here that's not in the braid. I'm gonna take this clip down from the other side and I'm going to check and make sure these are even. So again, if I cut it this way, how I cross check is always the opposite way. When I take this out, this should be a straight line. Take down one side, and again, I still have this mohawk that I cut here. When I distribute this out, I have a guide for this whole entire haircut. I also have my comb if I get lost. The haircut in the front is pretty much the same. Vertical line, but I'm leaving my braid. I'm not cutting that, I'm gonna cut that last. Clip that back. The hair is living here, not back here. That's gonna save length. Everything needs to be uniform, so we're cutting it where it lives. So the guide is coming to me. Straight up, there's my guide. Think about if she was wearing a rainbow hat, those little silly hats for the parade where it's a huge rainbow. Think about that. Cutting this backwards. Okay, I have a little peak there where I missed a spot. For this part, you can continue to do it vertical, just like we did in the back. Or you can take pie slices. This hair up here, see this little guide? Boop, cutting against it. Not past my second knuckle, and I'm not cutting under it, above it, I'm cutting right against it. I'm not cutting what I previously cut. Only worried about this little sliver of hair because it's at a true 90. This piece is now at a 90. Okay, and I should be cutting up here ergonomically. Is that the word? Whatever. It's gonna hurt your body over time if you cut like I was doing. Vertical subsection. Taking a little guide from what I previously cut, combing, finding my guide. There it is. Just a little bit. Recombing because the head is changing direction. It's not up here. We're moving with it. There's my guide. Back at the front, we have this guide, because remember, that's what we first cut, this rainbow, that little mohawk. Vertical sections if I want. I can make them more pizza slices like this. Eventually, we're gonna run out of hair. On the side here, there's my guide. Cut. Recomb. Cut. Another vertical section. I only have a little bit in this one, so I'm just gonna cut it very quickly. Weep, there's my guide. Connect the dots. Recomb, because the head is round. Now I'm left with this bang or fringe area. So I cut that in half. I'm making sure it's at a true 90 degrees. This is my last sliver of hair. And see that? See my guide. Now I'm gonna unbraid this side, because this is the danger zone. I just wanna make sure I'm cutting this where the hair actually lives. The hairline around the ear changes shape. It goes from way down here, and some mannequins, people are different. They have sideburns way down here. Then it goes up, and then it goes all the way back down. So it's changing shape pretty much every time you cut. That's just why I like to pin up the sides, so I just know I'm not gonna make a mistake. Especially during testing, like you can't put that back on. Here's my guide right here. Recombing. And this is tilted down just a little bit because of her sideburn. Still have a little tail here, so I'm gonna go back in with my vertical pieces. There's my guide. Bring this downtown. Same thing in the back. Okay, there's my guide for that. This 90 is right here. When you get to the back here, you can see this part that was in the braid. There's my length that I cut. There's my other guide. I'm just connecting the dots. Take a look at her. Pretty much a mullet, but that's what we want. It's also, when you dissect it this way, it's rounded. It's following the head shape. We're gonna move on to our last side. Again, I'm keeping the braid, combing all this where it lives. See that? I have a guide here and I have a guide I took from the back, but I'm making sure the piece that I'm cutting is straight up at a 90. Add some more hair, recomb. A guide here, a guide there, cut the center out. Now I can take a little piece from what I just cut, comb the rest of this back, take another piece right here. There's my guide, cut. Combing, following my guide. There's my guide. This is at a 90, no bends, cut. Cutting this in half. This, away with it. This, my new guide. Also still have a guide up here from the mohawk. So I've got guides everywhere, and again, my comb can serve as a guide if I'm getting lost. There's my guide. Okay, and I made a mistake there. Cut it in half, move to the back, another vertical section. There's my guide. Here's a guide at the bottom. At the top, I'm gonna cut the middle off. If you can see that. Last piece. There's my guide peeking underneath. Now I'm gonna take down my braid. You don't have to do this, it's just to be safe. It's whatever you prefer. And I'm gonna dissect this and I'm gonna make sure I'm cutting it exactly where it lives. Taking another piece. My guide is under it, also above it. But I need to focus just on this little piece right here because this actually angles down a little bit at a true 90. Okay, last piece, same kind of thing. There's my guide. Connecting the dots. Woo! Girl, you looking like Justin Bieber. Cross-checking it this way, making sure that's a pretty straight horizontal line. And again, if you look at it from the side, you can see how it's rounding. It's making a circle. But yeah, this is your state board cut. A couple things to remember is that this is a uniform cut, meaning everything's the same length. So if I pull a hair from here, it should be the same length as a hair back here. Different parts of the head, but if we took out the measuring stick, whatever, tape measure, the measuring stick, and measured it, should be 5 here and 5 here, or 3 here, 3 there, whatever you're using. The reason it doesn't look the same length on the head is because the head changes shape. Every degree, it's changing shape. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. I'll be happy to help you. Don't forget there's a printable guide on my website or guides to the previous videos of these if you need to refer back to them. I'll link everything in the description box below. Next week, I'll see you for, I don't know what we're doing, y'all. I'm either working on my other series, the real serious one, or I've added a lot of stuff to my 90s collection. I have a collection of 90s, 2000s, a lot of beauty products from that era. We may look at those together. I haven't decided. So anyway, next week, check it out for something fun, something not so serious. But until then, I hope you have a great week. And if you're taking your test, Godspeed, you got it. Just fake it till you make it. All right, I'll see you next time for something cool. Something cool. Patricia Bieber. Well, God bless, you look like Hillary Clinton too. Woo.